Hi guys, this is Emnal, and this time around in our Gwent tutorial we are going to take a look at Skellige and their starter deck. Skellige is a faction that hasn't really changed all that much between closed and open beta. I would say that they changed the least by a long shot, with I guess Nilfgaard and monsters as a distant second. Before we go into Krahan Crate's ability, we should take a look at our staple card. First one, most basic one, which is Krahan Crate Warrior. You see two things here. First of which is Veteran, strengthen self by 1. Veteran is an ability that triggers at the start of the round 2 and 3 for each card that you have in your hand, deck, or graveyard. And what this means in this case is that this card is an 8 in the first round. In the second round, no matter if you played it, if you have it on your hand all the time, or if it's still in your deck, it is going to be a 9, and for the third round it is going to be a 10. This is consistent for a big number of Skellige cards, which transfers into them being weakest in the first round and comparatively the strongest for the round 3. That's basically the thing. The second thing you see here is deploy, damage self by 1. So we put him on the it is a first round, we play our Krahan Crate Warrior, and he becomes an 8 that gets wounded and goes down to 7. Seems like a weird thing to do, but there is a reason to this madness, and this is Krahan Crate Warcry. It used to be a Warcry special card rather than a unit, but now it looks like this. So he's still a veteran. When you deploy it, you boost 3 damaged units to your left by half of their power, rounding up. So in this case, it would be by 4. He would go from 7 to 11. And then effort weakens self by 2. So for each of such actions, he's going to weaken himself by 2. And well, that's the self-wounding Skellige deck archetype. It revolves around getting higher strength, basic strength of your units, by means such as this guy, Clan. Oh, damn it! I don't remember how it was pronounced in Witcher 3. Tordrach? Yeah, I think it's Clan Tordrach Shieldsmith. When you deploy him, you are able to strengthen a unit of your choice by 2. So this guy would go from 8 to 10, which would once again increase the amount of boost he gets from Krahan Crate Warcry. Then we have Clan Tusech Skirmishers, which on top of having a veteran, like many other Skellige units, as we discussed, has a fairly unique ability that he is going to strengthen himself whenever he enters the graveyard. So, for example, we play him on our first round, he's strength 6, then he goes into the graveyard at the end of the round, or he's killed, and he's going to be strength 9 there, on top of having another +1 from veteran, so he would become a 10 in our graveyard. You may ask, well, what's the point? It's in our graveyard. But that's another of the staples of Skellige, which is resurrection. They have a handful of ways of doing that, and the most basic and straightforward ones are Priestesses of Freya. Deploy her and resurrect a bronze unit from your graveyard, which, as you can see a pattern. You play a handful of cards in your first and second turn and round, and in the third round you you will be able to do some resurrection and put fairly powerful units back on board. And the card that rounds up our bronze units, because remember, we can only resurrect bronzes, that we have in this starter deck are Clan Brokva Archers. Once again, a veteran. Remember, priestesses do not have a veteran ability. And you can deploy them to damage 3 units by 1. So, for example, you could damage this clan Tusek skirmishers, who have, for example, been already on board twice. You played them on round 1, then you resurrected them on round 2, and then you resurrect them again on round 3, damage them with Clan Brokva Archers, and play Warcrier. You get the gist of how it all comes together. Now, since we discussed all the bronze units, it's time to talk about Krach. So you put him on board, he's a 4, and then he plays a highest loyal unit in your deck. Oh, actually, he also plays silvers. Okay, well, in this case, because as you can see, it doesn't say including golds, but you strengthen him by 3, and then damage that. You strengthen that unit by 3 and damage it by 1. In case of Crown and Crate Warrior, that is our strongest unit at the start of the game. So those are first, then you have Warcriers if you run out of those guys. That would turn him into 13. I'm sorry, 11 of course, but he would damage himself twice. In case we get a Clan and Crate Warcrier, well, he gets to 10 and damages itself to 9. You get the gist. So, yeah, that's about it. And, well, of course, since all of them get veteran, the order doesn't really change unless something else is afoot, but, well, we don't have things that would boost units within our decks, at least in this starter deck, so that doesn't really matter. Rounding up the bronze units on our deck, we have Alzur's Thunder, 7 damage, staple. First light, of course, we pull a random bronze unit from our deck with Rally or the all-weather with Grey Skies, and we have Torrential Rain, which is one of the 3 basic weather abilities. At the start, we play it on one of the enemy rows, and at the start of the turn, it will damage the lowest unit on the row by 2. I would say that it is the least useful of the 3 basic ones, because it's like, for example, with Fog that then damages the highest unit. It's easier to get them to get units to the same strength. They would, naturally gravitate towards it. And we could fine-tune them with Clan Brokva Archers, but well, it's can be still as powerful, but it's more rare for actual Torrential Rain to do the trick. Of course, we have Decoy, which in this deck is, I guess, we can decoy our Warcrier, but it's rarely useful because, well, once we boost units, they aren't damaged anymore, so it kind of defeats the purpose. They already have, well, unless they've been damaged very severely. So if this guy was down to 4, he would be boosted to what? 7, right? So he would still be considered damaged, and then we could, for example, play another Warcrier or bounce him, and still being considered damaged, he would benefit from the Warcry. Basically, Warcry works on everything that has red strength indicator. So you can also use it on Brokva Archers or Shieldsmith, but most probably the best way to use them are Priestesses of Freya. Priestesses of Freya are also doomed, which means that you cannot resurrect them. If they, well, not exactly. When they go to, okay, there it is, units, banish when destroyed. So, which means that if you discard them, for example, they will still be in your graveyard and you would be able to resurrect them. But if they got destroyed from your board, well, they are gone. So we have Commander's Hall, Scourge once again, destroy the highest unit, boost 4 units adjacent to one another by 4. We have Royal Decree that plays a golden card from our deck, as in all the other decks. Then we have, of course, Geralt with his Brave ability, strengthening by 3 if we are still losing after playing him for 10. Tris Marigold, good old Tris Marigold, 7 strength, hitting something for 5. And our golden unit of choice in this faction, for starters, is Ermion. You draw 2 cards and then discard 2 cards from your hand. It's especially useful in discard decks for Skellige, and that is another archetype, a very common one and the most popular one, I would say. But he's still useful in non-discard decks because you are basically able to run through more of your deck. If you had, for example, 10 cards left in your deck, you can run through them and get it down to 8, which makes drawing your golds and silvers that more likely. Well, back to silvers, and Cleaver will toggle a lock. Simple enough. Dudu, we copy an enemy's power onto this card, so if someone has a powerful enemy, we can match him with Dudu. Not a big fan of having, as I mentioned a few times in previous episodes, but that's an option that you just pick this one. And last but not least, we have Holger Blackened, which is our silver unit of choice for this faction, for our starter deck. He's once again a veteran. When we deploy him, he damages something by 5. If that was enough to destroy it, we are going to strengthen the highest unit in our graveyard by 3, which would probably be one of the Clan Tuisech skirmishers, which can be a very useful thing, but even if that's not the case, he is a 10 strength swing, which is nothing to scoff at. Alright, let's take it for a spin or 2. Well, that's now the awkward waiting. Servers are probably getting burned down with all the people jumping into open beta. It was what? Just over 24 hours since the open beta started. So we are of course going to go into challenges and play a few to give you the taste of how this deck plays. Skellige, Iron Fleet. So what we are going to see here is a discard Skellige archetype. So King Bran is one of 2 other leaders that we'll get after finishing challenges, and you deploy him and you can discard 3 cards from your deck, including golds, and strengthen the units that are among them by 1. They land in your graveyard, and as we've learned, there are ways of bringing things from your graveyard, but the discarding thing is also something that triggers a lot of abilities, as we are about to see. It's going to be painful, I'm afraid, but well.
Sit at my table and let's drink for Skellige's glory!
Alright. I think I'm. Do we have a war crier? We do not. So that's not a problem because we can pull one, and now we can pull one from our deck. So I think we can keep it. We'll keep one Brokvar Archer. I will get one Priester of Freya back into the deck. We'll keep Royal Decree so we can pull one of our golds if needed. Decoy, yes, that will be useful for Freya's later. Torrential Rain. Thing is that okay, I don't want First Light, I don't think so. I want Cleaver for the reasons I will see in a sec, I'm afraid. Torrential Rain. I guess I'm not a fan, but we'll keep it and see if we can make some use of it just for the sake of showing it off. So there we go. So here it is, War Longship. This damn card, whenever you discard a unit, damage the random enemy by 2. So remember the ability of Bran. If you happen to put 2 or 3 such warships, war longships on board and then use his ability, each of them will deal 6 damage between 3 random targets. That can of course be doubled, which is a massive pain in the ass that we will try to deal with by locking them, of course, which disables the ability. There goes the second one. I want to keep decoy for Priestess of Freya, so I'm just going to nuke one of them.
Of course, Fred.
Alright, so he discarded 2 Priestesses of Freya. As you can see, they've been boosted, strengthened, I'm sorry, from 1 to 2, and one of his war longships, which... Alright, so that's... if those decks are built properly, which means they don't have more than 3 cards, which is not always the case in those challenge decks, then he's just down to 1 Priestess of Freya as far as Bronze Resurrections go. He may have some other things, but I think we're good for now. What do we want to do? There's no need of destroying that at the moment. And I don't actually want to boost this guy of all things, so let's...
Follow you always into the fair.
Oh, well, there it goes. Well, I guess we'll get one more. Oh, there goes Scorch. Was it? Yes. Huh. Right, I think it's time to actually start using our priestesses.
We serve her who is virgin, mother and crone.
We'll greet him with fire and iron. Let's not get in the way of me axe.
Right, we're going to pull the second one.
Modron Freyr is patient, but she brooks no insult.
He may actually pass now.
Some overseas plundering in springtime.
Alright, let's put Torrential Rain here.
Crack and eat me ghoulies. Looky here.
So this guy will basically avoid that. Well, we want him to keep playing cards, frankly, because we are basically in control. If we end up in trouble, we can simply use Krahan Crate and play Warcry. So let's just go slowly.
Out with the crowns! Come on, quick now!
Oh, never mind. And let's pass. Yeah, I should have passed against him, frankly, but yeah, just a challenge. Okay, so we got our Priestess of Freya. I think we are going to exchange this guy. Now. Well, sadly we only have 1 resurrection left, since we used the second priestess as well as our decoy. So I think we are going to just pass here, because we will be pulling the Warcry from our deck, and we want to get one of those Crown Ancrate warriors to boost. So yeah, that's good enough, I guess. This is less than ideal, but well, I would normally play him and then allow him to bounce. But yeah, let's just use his waste one of his cards.
Modron Freyr watch us and keep us.
Alright, so this guy, remember, was a 6 in the previous previous turn. And he got +1 to 7 from veteran and +3 from, well, landing in the graveyard. Now he's up to 14 there. I actually like it. I actually like that. We're going to keep it all.
Olga Blackhand's taking on new swabbies. What do you say?
More discarding. So those guys, when you deploy them, they discard all copies of this unit from the deck, which counts as a discarding a unit, so it would trigger war longships that we've seen earlier. It's a lot of stuff here. 2 11 ones and 1 14, as you can see. If you manage to play them in your first round, they add up. Especially if you also res them later. Oh, and Sigdrifa. Right, we haven't. Oh, well, Sigdrifa is basically a 3 strength Priestess of Freya that can also resurrect silver cards, and that's about it. Let's start off by going with this.
What's this on one?
Alright, so this guy, his basic strength is 4, I believe. It could have been checked a little bit. I think it's 4 or 5, probably 4. He's a veteran, so he's 6 now. And, well, that's just not right. He discarded 5 things, so that will be 3 as his base. And whenever a unit is discarded, this guy is boosted by 1, wherever he is. Alright, and now we are going to resurrect
We serve her who is virgin, mother, and crone.
this guy and play him here.
Told you it'd be worth it.
Another one, eh?
By Heimdall's axe!
We're going to damage this guy, of course, so for the war cry. And 2 other guys.
You wanna pass, you gotta pay. Can't let
Alright,
anyone else win.
he only had 1 in his graveyard. Now, sadly, we cannot use Girl to his full potential of 13 because we are not losing by 10. Okay, let's just use this. Might as well. So as you can see, we pulled a 9 strength clan Uncrate Warcry. He was 7, but 2 ticks of veteran got him to 9, and now he will be boosted by 3 to 12 and damage back to 11.
We'll greet him, we will. But fire and iron.
I hate portals.
And and he also got weakened by 2, as you can see, for each of those ticks, which were 2. Still a decent swing, as you see.
Any last words?
Well, we already won, but we can also pull, well, Tris Marigold, I guess, because pulling Airbion at that point is kind of pointless. Alright, I should probably play Airman next round, just to show him off. And now we are going to play against, well, Queensguard deck. That should be interesting. Let's go. Banish or still Queensguards on round 1. Yeah, well, they are still weak. Well, this is aimed if you are playing with other factions, because we don't really have a way of doing any of those things. Queensguard are quite interesting. You'll see in a second.
Of course, friend.
You've got the heart of an uncrate.
What do we want? Well, we want to use both Priestesses of Freya. This you only have 2. Normally you would mulligan at least one of them to draw them later, but We will keep the war cry because clan uncrate warrior is in our discard. We'll still keep the cleaver and Tris Marigold to deal with war longships. I mean, once again, Duda gets the axe here. I'm really not a big fan of this card, so let's see what we get. I think we don't want 2 Brock archers, also Thunder, and we can pull Geralt or Ermin if we so desire. Yeah, I think this is a good hand.
Mead! Or mead!
Okay, so he's not playing war longships. He just discarded all of his all of his resurrections. That's an interesting move. Okay, so here we have Drift, as I mentioned, so just resurrect a unit from a graveyard, which means non-gold, but can be silver. And I think we are going to start with this one. Well, there he goes. Well, we are playing against Skellige, so it doesn't really benefit us to, well, to pass this turn, because he will become bigger anyway, as do we. So let's just try once more. Well, it's a problem. All right, let's pull one up.
Let's not get in the way of me axe.
Yeah, I should have probably just resurrected him. Alright, so there are Queen's Guard. So they start as a 3. They are veterans, so they will get bigger. But whenever you deploy one, which means we can resurrect one or we can play one from our hand, all of Queen's Guard that are in our graveyard are going to get resurrected. So the way to go, the way to go about it is you keep one Queen's Guard in your hand, you mulligan the rest, and you pull them by using King's Brand's ability rather than discarding all your resurrection. So yeah, that's how you do it. Right, I'm going to use this and pull this guy. Sadly damaged twice. Alright. There we go. That's a bit of a problem with Queen's Guard deck, that they don't have much of an oomph in the first round, which, well, kinda... okay, so we don't want 2 of those. Well, now we definitely... let's see. So we can resurrect 2 things. I think we are just going for the big showdown on round 3. Don't want him to cycle through his Queen's Guards, especially since we have no way of banishing them. One of the ways of banishing units, so putting them out of the game rather than from your graveyard, is by lowering their strength to 0. If we were to weaken them, there are ways to for example, they start with the strength of 3, and there are quite a few ways of weakening units by 3 and just removing them from the game, which is the major weakness of Queen's Guard decks, because once you start actually losing those Queen's Guards, you can recycle. Well, there are problems. Let's see. Do you want to, for example, pour Ermion and switch with Xera? I think, you know what, let's... Okay, we'll do it in the next round. I'm just going to pass here. I want to, a nice state of the board. As you can see here, and they're resurrecting one another. And there's probably a 3rd one in his hand, and in the next round he is going to deploy it, and that will pull 2 others and result in 4 points, in 15 points on the board. We are going to discard Cleaver because, well, he doesn't seem to be using war longships, and there isn't much else to lock in Skellige deck anyway.
You're good. Real good.
And there they go. It's a perfect opportunity to play our Geralt though. So you can see here, we...
Bow before Modern Freya. Modern Freya is patient, but she brooks no insult.
Okay, so they just resurrected themselves. Okay. Alright, so here is the problem with Royal Decree, right? Because in this situation, we got all 4 golds on our hand. And Royal Decree is a decent card if you are very dependent on a single gold card. But we have a way of removing it from our hand, but well, that means we will get to play 1 less gold, which is a significant power disadvantage from a similar deck that has 4 actually, 4 golds that actually do something. So we're going to play our friend Ermin here. Draw 2 cards, and we are going to discard Royal Decree. And what do we want? I think we're actually going to discard also Standa. Let's see. Yes, this is the least powerful card on our hand right now.
So what? Should I pound it into a poker?
So they're boosting them. We are going to get Holger Blackhand to kill one of them. For nicely 5, and he just...
Come on, quick now.
Yeah, he just boosted our most powerful unit in our graveyard, which is Clan Tusek Skirmisher, by 3. It all adds up. Now, well, I guess it's time to... You know what? Actually, let's nuke.
I will not let this become a second Sodden.
One more here. Okay, so there is a potential of, for example, what was it? Commander's Horn, but it's not a high enough threat that I want to waste 3 damage on that, and well, we cannot kill them anyway. So let's focus on this.
Come on, quick now.
Well, now I think it's time to pull ourselves a Skirmisher. Let's put him here.
Overseas plundering in springtime.
Ouch. Oh well. Well, that means that he's up to 20. Problem is that, well, we'll only be able to boost him out of all the things. So let's...
Bow before Modern Freya.
Nothing like some overseas plundering in springtime.
Olga Blackhand's taking on new swabbies.
Alright, so we are going to boost him a bit more.
Out with the crowns. Come on, quick now.
Olga Blackhand's taking on new swabbies. What do you say?
Now, we are playing those guys right next to one another, but well, since it hits 4 adjacent units, we could place it here anyway. So
Keep together.
we're going to, of course, damage this guy and kill one of the priestesses, and well, I guess damage this.
Let's get this over with.
There has been a lot of moaning how useless Geralt is, but I think it's... I actually think he's actually a decent card. There are not as many gold cards that you can so easily pull 13 strength out of, so I actually think he's going to see play in quite a few decks. But well, we shall see. He's definitely a good starter card, that's for sure. Now, let's get the main show on the road.
Skellige!
And there we go. So that was what, 11, 18 strength play. It's, well, he's been buffed into into Cosmos, but yeah, it adds up. And now we boost this. We've won already, but yeah, let's rub it in. And that rubbing in, though, is not something you want to do in your online games with, and by online I mean with opponents, because that's considered fairly rude to just keep playing cards after you've won. It's you can play one more, but yeah, that's like if you want to whatever show off what you had in your hand. So some people like that, but all right, yeah. For a second I thought, well, we played this twice, but yeah, just pass if you want. Now. Let's take a look what we can change in this kind of deck. Well, we definitely want one more Priestess of Freya. I would definitely remove Torrential Rain. Not that synergetic with the rest of this. I think 2 Clan and Crate Warriors are enough. I'd probably get one more. Let's see. Yeah, I think I would get one more Skirmisher, for example. And another card that you could use is Raging Berserker. Raging Berserker is a 6 strength unit that is agile, so you can put him anywhere. And whenever he is damaged, but not killed, he transforms into an 11 strength bear. It looks okay, but the thing is that in this patch the veteran ability has been removed from them, so like by the 3rd turn the 11 strength isn't all that impressive. For example, this guy gets 10, right? -1, but we want that. So it's there's one difference because we want that bear probably to be damaged by 1 anyway. I think you could go with 3 of those. That was a bad idea earlier because that was a special card rather than a unit with 7 strength. So if you find yourself, lacking Clan and Crate Warcries, you can put a 3rd one, but probably not as important. You could put Demon Pirates. Well, 3 of them if you do, just to thin your deck, to get closer to getting some important things here and there. But overall, I think that's actually a fairly decent setup that you have here. Having 2 Brogver Archers is, I think, enough. You could possibly add a 3rd Skirmisher, but usually you just want 1 or 2. It's good to have them on your hand, but you're not going to resurrect too many of them. 1 tops 2, so you don't really need 3 out there. Of course, that means that Krach and Crate will be pulling Warriors first, which is it's not ideal because, well, he damages them twice. It's kind of wasteful. And pulling Warcries is also an issue because, well, damaging them kind of defeats the purpose unless you want to play a 2nd one. So, yeah, but this is actually there's actually very little you have to do to bar this deck. I would definitely go with Priestess of Freya. As far as Silvers go, you know my opinion about Dudu, so yeah, I would axe Dudu. Definitely, I would put Sigdrifa. And I would consider getting, if you happen to stumble upon one, Djenge Threat. Totally not a Star Wars reference. But what he does is you put him on board, and you damage 3 allies by one. So, well, similar to Brogvar Archer, but, well, you don't get to damage enemies. But he strengthens himself by 1 when he does that. He is also He's, however, strength 8, as you can see, so he can very well get pulled out of your deck in place of clan Uncrate warriors, which may be a blessing and a curse. If let's remove him for a moment. So if you already used both of your clan Uncrate warriors, this is great because you are able to play him and, for example, damage those guys that you needed to damage. He will be boosted and damaged by Clan Crate. He is going to get also boosted by himself, and you will end. So basically, even on round 1, assuming you will damage 3 units. So you, for example, play this guy, and I don't know, something. Well, you just play those, right? You pull him with Krach and Crate. You only damaged 2, so he gets up to 10. That's 13 with this guy. He gets damaged to 12, and Warcrier. Then you play Warcrier that boosts boosts him by half, and those 2 guys as well. So very good card for this kind of deck, definitely. As far as golds go, I don't have anything particularly useful around here, so let's go to collection. I still haven't opened my kegs. Collection. Let's just look for Skellige rather than neutral cards. Other silvers. Here's a decent choice. So you have a choice of 3 spells. You can get a fog, which I mentioned is probably better than using torrential rain. I would replace Scorch with him if I had, because well, Scorch isn't exactly something you want to use in this kind of deck that aims for big units. It may become a dead card in quite a few situations. Blood Curling Roar, destroy an ally and spawn a bear. Bear is a 12 strength unit, so you can, for example, destroy one of your priestesses with strength 1 to get another 12 on the board. And Clear Skies, always good to have. Another stable card is Dryad Bondu. You deploy him, he strengthens 2 units in your graveyard by 3. And, well, you can decoy him. I would definitely keep decoy, by the way. So you can boost some of the units you will want to resurrect on your 3rd round to add to the strength of your Warcry, or just to the strength of your units. Sigdrifa, as we already mentioned, definitely the staple card here. We already have this guy. He is mostly for the discard deck. He's mostly for the damaging deck. I mean, Skjal may actually be quite useful, but we don't do that much in terms of buffing. But we could pull him out of the deck at the end, or you put him into play. And there's a timer of 2. And after 2 turns, at the end of the turn, he converts his current power into base power. So we have 2 turns to fiddle with him. So on the next turn, after you play him, you can boost and damage him, and you can, for example, damage him or increase his strength or whatever, and then you damage him by 1, and then you Warcry. But probably not, honestly. Not sure about Skjal. He's seems like a fun card, but nothing to write home about. Utah Undemon can be actually a decent thing, because you can pull her out of deck without any issues. She will always be the one you will pull with Craig. With 11 strength. She already damages herself, which is a bit of an issue, but definitely a decent option. And this is a disloyal card, so he will not be pulled with Krahan Crate, so he basically gives you 1 card advantage and a discard. It's thing about card advantage is that it's not as important as it is as it used to be in Ghost Beta, but with such decks as Self-Harm Skellige, it actually is still a quite important thing. You really do want to get all the buffing with Warcry at the end of the game, possibly after your opponent has passed. So he cannot destroy all of that. You had that with your Geralt Igni, or with your with his Geralt Igni, or with his Scorch. As for those units here, there isn't much. I mean, Hjalmar is always an option if you have a black hand that hits for 5. He basically creates a 5 strength unit on enemy's side of the board, and if you manage to destroy it, he gets boosted by 10, becoming 25, but you don't have that much in terms of damage. Madman Lugos is always okay. You can discard a bronze unit from your deck, and you can you have quite a few powerful ones, including, for example, those skirmishers that get more powerful if they are in your graveyard and damage units. So I think he would be a great fit. And I actually think that even despite this not being a discard deck is always a good card to have if in doubt, because well, he allows you to get some much needed drawing to get to the combo, because well, it's not the biggest combo out there, but this is still a combo deck you are using. So yeah, definitely. And if you are still using Triss Marigold, then well, now you have 2 ways of disposing of Hjalmar's Nemesis. So that's always a good thing to consider. And I mentioned Geralt Igni, so as far as you know, neutral cards, Geralt Igni is always a good thing. Triss and Yennefer, not so much. Actually, not sure what would be particularly good. I guess Yennefer Conjurer, that damages all units on the board by 2, is an option, but it's more of a stretch, really. So nothing that jumps out when it comes to this like in-game synergy. Of course, you always, when thinking about the deck, you need to think about meta when you're playing with people, what you see and what presents a problem to you, and then think, how can I deal with it? How can I deal with such problem? And then you are attacking against it. And for example, putting more locks into your deck, or putting more damaging spells such as Alzar Thunder, perhaps more Clear Weather. So those are all, I haven't discussed them here specifically, but those are always things you need to consider when building the deck, because well, the metas change, and there's sometimes a different meta on the low end of the spectrum, completely different in the middle and the high, and so on and so forth. So always keep those things in mind. We'll discuss all those concepts in future videos, but for now, thanks for watching. Damn, this was a long one. I will see you next time when we'll take a look at Nilfgaard. Cheers!